One concurrent, that's good enough. Welcome to virtual reality. And also to Half-Life Alyx. Forgive the weird display shit. I just have to make sure that it's all broadcasting correctly. I'm a little neurotic about that. Okay. Welcome to Half-Life Alyx. I last played this game in 2020 when it first came out, the week it came out, and I finished it a couple days after it came out. And kind of a funny story, I heard the announcement about this and I was like, holy shit, I'm not going to be able to play this. And then the very next time anything VR equipment went on sale, which was an Oculus Rift S, which is what I'm using still, the very minute I heard there was a sale on that, I went and bought it, and I was still in college, still in a small dorm room, so I set up VR in a small dorm room with about a little square of space to play in, and the risk of smashing my hand against the walls. I have a much bigger space now, thankfully. And, hey, Noctis was cooking, and I can see the chat from here, and you can too, because this is the superior VR display method. So, anyway, I loved it. I predicted the ending by accident. And I'm going to replay now from the beginning on stream. I bet I can play on hard. Weapon hand right. That sounds good to me. Creating a new save game. So, yeah, first of all, incredible that anything Half-Life got made. I remember hearing and being kind of upset by the idea that Valve had initially concepted a Portal VR game, but obviously a Portal in VR would just make you motion sick, so it wasn't. But apparently, according to Jeff Keighley in his funny book, the lab was supposed to have a Half-Life themed minigame, but that got cut. But then they turned the minigame into a real game. And, oh yeah, I forgot about the blindness. Sorry about that. Valve made this decision. I can't do anything about it. It's in, like, the inverse. Oh, spoiler warning for the entire series, by the way. I hope you already knew that was a thing. Oops. Oh, that's going to be a little annoying, isn't it? Oh, well. I guess I'll pause here and there. There's no easy way to, like, quickly check chat unless I, like, dock it to one of my hands. And if I did that, it would be visible the whole time and get in the way, so I can't do that. Oh, loading still. Welcome to City 17. That there is the Citadel. It's still a little under construction. Uh-oh. I am having hitching issues. You know, I hadn't actually tried to play this game before I started this. Maybe I should have thought about that. I'm sure we're gonna be fine. Anyway, what a view, huh? We're back, ladies and gentlemen. And they're still using the destroyed car in yellow from Half-Life 2, I think. I think these are models ripped from the OG game because you don't need a detailed model when it's all the way down there. So check it out, huh? The Citadel's being built. There's choppers in the sky. There's big power cables going to what's probably the construction equipment because this stuff wasn't here in Half-Life 2. That's always the problem with a prequel, is that you have to, if you want to do anything new, you have to explain it away, and they didn't even bother to explain away this stuff. Everything all right? Can you hear me? You still there? I can snoop on my concurrents and things anytime I want to. Okay. Check it out, though. The radio, and it's all interactive. I've just boosted the signal. One of these is... There it is. The classic creepy radio from the original Half-Life 2. I was a little skeptical when this came out, although I did decide to spend money to play it, so I guess I'm a fool then, huh? Anyway, I don't have an index, otherwise I'd be able to smash this can with my hand. What was I gonna say? I was a little skeptical, but this is in fact a Half-Life style campaign in VR. It's plenty linear, but with plenty around, and it's fleshed out enough that it doesn't feel super badly linear, and the linearity is natural. It's not, doesn't feel forced. It's not a series of hallways. The combat's good. The enemies are good. Guns are good. This watering can is bad. And They had to replace a few voice actors. I know Eli Vance's voice actor died, so you can't have him, and Breen's voice actor died, so he doesn't even make an appearance. But that drippy leaker, Tyler McVicker, has the idea that there were some weird internal politics going around in the Valve office, and that's why they didn't bring back Alyx's voice actress, Merle Dandridge. I wouldn't know about that. Yeah. Anyway, it's fucking great. And, it's a return to form for Valve, which is really too bad, because VR is such an exclusive platform that nobody gets to enjoy it, which is why I am enjoying it for you, and you get to watch me enjoy it, and it's gonna be really cool. And you know what else is really cool? Picking up pencils. So I'm gonna give you guys an art lesson on how to draw my skull, alright? First, you start with a circle. That is perhaps one of the best circles I've ever drawn, my god. And I didn't even, like, there wasn't even any haptic feedback for it. So first you start with a circle. And then I usually do like a reverse Mickey Mouse. Like I take these two circles on the bottom, and the size is usually like in between these two sizes. I just fucked it up is all. And then I use those circles as reference to erase. Surely I can pick this up better. There we go. To erase this. I originally created that silly little skull in Photoshop, so it was a lot easier than drawing and erasing. I just made 2-3 shapes. Shit. Fuck. Alright, whatever. And then the rest of the details I didn't hash out nearly as interestingly. I just drew them like this. And then you, yeah. Of course, like I said, I made it in Photoshop with shapes, so I didn't, it's a disaster piece. There you go. You can take a picture. It's going to be famous in a few hours, few years. But yeah, so that's how I knew this skull was going to be iconic, because I designed it with a reverse Mickey Mouse. Look at me, having an ego. Okay, Eli Vance is on the phone. That's Daddy. That's our Daddy. And he's got a completely different voice actor who doesn't even sound old. That's actually my biggest complaint about this game, is that the sound stuff, from like the music to the sound effects to some of the voice actors, doesn't sound right. Like, it doesn't feel like Half-Life, if that makes sense. The music in this one was done by Mike Moraski, who is a professional composer, unlike Kelly Bailey, who was just some dude who picked it up for the sake of finishing the project so that they had someone to do it. So technically, it's kind of ironic. The guy who technically has more experience and like a license and shit, and who had a real professional job before he came to Valve, the music that he made for Half-Life doesn't feel as Half-Life as the guy who made the music with like samples and shit because somebody needed to do the music. I hope it's funny. I think VR is a great vehicle for humor, because there's so much physical comedy and everybody is a little different in VR. And I talk with my hands a lot in VR because, like, come on. Why wouldn't you? I hope no one drank out of this mug recently, although these little wetness stains lead me to believe otherwise. That is life in City 17, though, you know? You just have to deal with what you got. I don't think I can pull the matches out, but they are in there if you can hear them. How's the, You probably don't see my health, do you? I need to check that, actually. Well, I don't know if you're allowed to see my health yet, but anyway. I think we should pick up the phone now.
Alyx! How's it looking up there?
It's good, Dad. Metrocop movement is normal. Same for the Combine patrols. How's it going in the stockyard?
One Combine mini reactor from a shipment of 4,000. They're never going to miss it. Here, see for yourself.
Not only that, someone's hacked into the Combine construction network.
Don't get greedy, guys. We're not made of time here.
1 minute and I'm
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, also, I spotted the Combine moving supplies into the quarantine zone. That place has been deserted for years.
That is
Fuck the other monitors, we don't need them.
Well, we'll look into it when we get back.
What is it?
Meet back at the safe house, baby. We'll be there soon.
It looks like...
What is it, Russell?
Would you... Terrific.
Kind of a weird system that you have to accept and listen to an entire phone call in order for this door to unlock. But it's a pretty solid door, I think. It's made out of space NASA construction. Whoops, I didn't switch it back over to chat. Okay. Anyway, you guys can hear my voice, right? Just this comment from HA is freaking me out. I'm gonna check back in a minute and see if you've said anything. Well, what the fuck am I talking about? I can just look. Yeah, my mic is there. No need to freak myself out. Sometimes you may be able to see my boundary. It's not the biggest playpen, but it should be good enough for our purposes. And I'm never gonna, like, break a wall, or a lamp, or a TV. So this definitely feels like City 17 to me. It feels like the amount of detail that they would have had in this game, in Half-Life 2, I mean, if they had the budget and time. Isn't it funny that a game in development for 6 years had to be rushed out the door? But that was entirely because they hadn't finished the engine until, like, year... Look, guys! The Strider! From the Half-Life! So, they did change the lore on synths, which is what those kinds of Combine things were called. They changed the lore so that they're now like robotic copies of organic life forms instead of organic life forms that have been machinified. So that Strider we just saw is explained away as like a shittier model that they just use for basic bullshit. That is absolutely the yellow car from Half-Life 2. Only a real Half-Life fan would say shit like that is car 5.mdl. But it's a good thing to reuse, in my opinion. It's like, yeah, familiarity at the right amount of fidelity and detail. They did a really good job making this game run well and look good. These buildings here, it's kind of hard to tell in VR because the edges are a little blurrier when you're actually in the headset. But these buildings have about the same amount of detail that, like, if you've ever played BioShock Infinite, that's about the same level of detail that these have. The backgrounds in that game from 2013. And you'd think, what the heck, 2020 game, big Valve game, it's a VR technical issue. I can't interact with the newspapers, but they are here. Everybody got a room in their house like this, and if they don't have a house, it's a room in their apartment complex or a corner of it. I don't know. Welcome to big interactivity room number 2. We've got a camcorder we can view through. Supposed to be aiming at that. I don't remember why we're looking at these power pylons. Snark! This guy was in the first game. I can feed him if I hold the can properly. I don't know if I can write on his... Oops. I'm out of bounds. I don't know if I can write on his... that would have been insane technology, but I think I can write on the window. No, I can write on the whiteboard. What else can I draw while I'm here? Whoops. This does kind of feel like breaking shit with rocks because you're a fucking caveman. Does anybody recognize this man? I hope not. He isn't real. Okay. Good chats, thank you. I appreciate user engagement. It gives me the strength to go on. There was something else in here. Oh yeah, this. Come on. There we go. The schematic for dog. This is the first... Fuck. This is the first model that was about yay high. And then this is Alyx adding to him ever since. And there's also a photo somewhere. I don't remember what... Oh, here it is. Look. And this is a reference to, Half-Life 2. They had a security monitor just like that. Actually, I think it's the same security monitor images. Because that's the train station. I recognize the fences. Is that like... Does that mean I'm Half-Life autistic if I can say, like, I recognize what part of the game this is by looking at a blurry image? Because that's the train station right after the pick up that can happens. And that I'm not so sure about. But this one specifically is a Half-Life 2 map. Anyway, there's also a pretty huge hidden lore dump here. So we're about here, right? This is supposed to be our location. The state of these other nations is currently unknown to this cell of the Resistance. But look at this. This is the United States completely X'd out. Oops. We don't know what the hell happened to America for it to be completely X'd out on the map. Sorry if I keep adjusting my headset. The image keeps getting blurry for some reason. It's a problem I've had with this headset ever since I got it. And I don't know if this means, like, the Combine fucking glassed it, or if, like, there's too much resistance over here. It probably has something to do with the effects of the Resonance Cascade Black Mesa incident, because the epicenter of that was right there. Which means that this surrounding area would have been affected most by, you know, the aliens. The original aliens, not the Combine. So I guess that prompted, and whatever happened here prompted the exodus to Eastern Europe. And it's their attempt to explain why the hell all these Americans are in Eastern Europe in the first place. Let me fuck with this some more. I hope all my fucking with shit has been enjoyable. Okay. And now... What do you want to bet they went to Eastern Europe to get all this stuff? I think Viktor Anatov, rest in peace, may he rest in peace. I think he lived in Eastern Europe still, so they probably... I don't know if he worked with them on this game, actually. I didn't check.
Alyx, are we good?
Yep, they got the reactor. Easy peasy. I'm headed back to the safe house right now to meet Dad. Go. We'll be in touch.
This was a hell yeah moment. There they are! The guys! Also, the citizens have, they don't have their prison uniforms yet. This is supposed to be like a, you know, the pigeon, the iconic Half-Life 2 pigeon, the iconic Half-Life 2 street sign, the, Combine barrier walls look more like they did in Portal, look more like something from Portal 2 than from Half-Life. There is a small problem with this game, and I call it the Portal 2ification of this game, where certain things, like the music right now, sounds like it's from Portal 2. Some of the writing feels like it's from Portal 2. That effect is from Portal 2, although it's like slightly different, but it's basically the Portal 2 effect. Whoa, that wasn't supposed to happen. Here is the first weapon of any resistance, the pen. Most of you might use something like this to draw a rude image over the image of the police guy, but I am going to do something nice for him. Come on, you can touch it. There you go. There, now if you look at it from one of these perspectives, he should be promoted immediately, you know what I'm saying? Nah, fuck these guys. I'm gonna draw a silly little man. And hide the evidence. Can I open these? Hell yeah, I can open these. I wonder what these little hiccups show up as for everybody else. I feel like it's probably just a consequence of, like, the game rendering twice and OBS. This computer I'm in doesn't have a lot of RAM, and that is starting to become apparent. Because it's running worse. It's hitching more frequently than it did on my old setup.
What is it?
This doesn't seem like a routine sweep. Are you sure everything went okay?
This is kind of the beginnings of a City 17 uniform. Those are new.
Keep your head down and be smart.
They also didn't remember how to do the Combine vocoders, or else they wanted them to be more, you wonder what those guys did? Probably nothing. What was I gonna say? The Combine voice thing. Oh shit. It used to be harder to hear them, and I don't know if they wanted it to be easier to hear, or if they, oh my god, I recognize that man. Hello, goodbye. That man is in the final chapter of the game as a stand-in prop, I think. You want to know something else that's funny? I have the book Raising the Bar for Half-Life 2 that they published like a long time ago, and it's out of print now. It was an art book talking about the game and commentary and shit, and they mentioned propaganda posters. They used to have propaganda posters in Half-Life 2, but then they decided that they weren't subtle enough. I think the actual term they used was they were doing the work of a sledgehammer, when a scalpel was more effective. And that's ironic to me that they have brought back the sledgehammer. They have posters that the Combine made demonizing human science. You know, human science, and the scene from Dead Space where you get the syringe in your eye. And human science did this, and it's a head crab zombie. And also they don't like Vortigaunts. They want you to report the Vort. There's one of those over here, I think. Yeah, report the Vort. And a lot of human science and ear on a rat. This is some Portal 2ification right here. This is shit that that Portal 2 would have done. Especially the rat. And they've also got some stuff about like civil protection. So there's Yellow Car again, except this time we get to see the fucker in HD. With usable doors. Oops. Come on, you can close. That's a good boy. And also that sign is from Half-Life 2. You've seen it in a few Gmods, I'm sure. The traffic cones, every game has a traffic cone. I can really slug that fucker. Combine for safety. The work of a sledgehammer. Also, that's not what they look like under the... But you know what? That's for later. Kind of funny that they portray them like that, though, because, if you know, you know. So here we find the first weapon of the game, the trusty mop. Sorry, broom. And, it will be used... Bitch. It will be used to fight these enemies. Alright, yeah, fuck this bit. I can climb up ladders with my... Here's an example of sound design that I don't like. That was, of course, the famous Half-Life dropship. How's the sound, by the way? Is my voice carrying over the sound of the game? Because in real life it isn't, but I have a limiter on the output, so it should be okay on your end. I can always just yell whenever the game gets loud, though. What was I gonna say? That's an example of sound design being worse, in my opinion, than the original games, because in Half-Life 2, the dropship sounded alien. It sounded like something you'd never heard before. It was a completely unique engine sound, and it had that whoop whoop sound to it. And it was unique, and it had its own personality, and it was alien, and it was cool. And in that sequence right there, the dropship sounded like a jet airliner. Like they just went to an airfield and recorded a sound and called it a day. And I know that those aren't a big focus. They don't appear very much in this game. Jeez, I'm getting like vertigo from this. I forgot how good VR is. But still, this is Valve we're talking about, the perfectionists. The guys who have a ton of canceled games because they don't release games. Sounds like someone's falling down a flight of stairs. They're playing the one about falling down the stairs.
Wait, I just live here. Wait, don't shoot.
Shit, okay. That's Eli Vance. Look, dude, don't touch me. Get that out of my face. Get that out of my face. I'm on drugs. I'm out of here. Man.
Hey, wait, no.
I'm dead. How cinematic and beautiful this is. Never mind that I'm clipping.
Where's my father?
Hello? Damn it, where's my father?
Tell her
Oh, I can't do the finger. Oh, I was looking right at that. Woo. Good thing this glass is grenade proof. Otherwise, it would have gone right into my face. Uh-huh. You know, I totally forgot. I didn't fall on the ground. I just made myself comfortable on the ground. I'm not about to literally fall. That would break this and my bones. I forgot about subtitles. That's probably good. Although I'm setting the speed to, no, I'll set the speed to regular people speed. I often forget that I'm a fast reader compared to most.
Alyx, you there? You've got to get moving.
Russell? I've been in
Second question, does it actually show up? I don't think it does. Nope, it doesn't show up. I hope you guys don't mind that.
I know! I caused it, so technically not an accident. You've got to get moving.
Wait, where's Dad?
He's fine. Follow the drone.
This game...
So, Dad's okay, right?
Yeah, well, no. To be honest, he's in huge trouble. They've still got him. He was in a separate room.
And you saved me?
Well, yes. I had no way of knowing who was in which van, so yes, the result was that I saved you.
Do we know where they're taking him?
Criminal holding, and then, when they realize he's Eli Vance, to Nova Prospect. But I'm already working on a plan to get him back. Close to my lab. Keep following the drone. We'll figure out what to do.
Russell, what did you guys find back there?
Well, that's the crazy thing. I don't know. Just blurry pictures of a building.
The Citadel?
No, something else. And whatever it is, they're gonna kill anybody who saw it. And anybody who knows anybody who saw it. Which means us and your dad.
Russell, just hang on. I'm almost there.
Oop. Okay. Since y'all cannot see the subtitles, I'm gonna turn them back off, because whatever, and I'm just gonna shut my trap during story moments. Is that alright? And hope that you can understand them. Whoops, shit. Sometimes my arm gets caught in non-Euclidean ways. So there's no reason to search around yet, but you still can if you really want to. Alright. Yeah, I think this game's using all 16 gigabytes of RAM. This game plus OBS Studio is using up all my RAM, I think. But whatever, that's what I get for only getting 16. I should upgrade. I think they tried to make Alyx imitate the player reactions. By the way, if you've never played VR, it's in 3D in this, right? And it doesn't look like a screen moving. It feels like you're in it. So, and scale for stuff like that, Noctis would know this, she said she played it. So the scale for shit like that is just, it feels real. Like that shit actually looked massive, and it's honestly the scariest thing I've ever felt in a game was VR horror. Oh yeah, it is hurting the RAM. Oh well. I guess that's what I get. But it's not failing on us. Once it fails on us, then I might have to change something. But until then, I think we're all right. Because yeah, it's having trouble like loading in anything new. It's always funny to me how like well hidden or lack thereof the stuff in Half-Life 2 and this is. Because like there's music playing on this old piece of shit to hide the sounds of laboratory, but like there's light coming out. This is kind of an unassuming place though, so in that respect it's good. But like in Half-Life 2 you could just walk into Eli's lab if you went past the dam, and I'm sure that, well, the Combine did know because the second Freeman showed up they swept it.
That's great. Okay, let's wait. My drone's okay, right?
Nope, it exploded. I'm fine, by the way.
Right, good. Well, that's the main.
Spoon. Oh, that's not a spoon.
Russell,
Spoon.
I know. This is bad. We're gonna find out what he knows, and then, you know, they're gonna kill him.
oh god.
But the good news is we've got something they don't.
Which is?
My plan to get him back.
Great. Let's hear it.
Now, pretty soon they're going to realise that your dad is not going to talk, and when that happens, he's off to have his grandson. Potentially, maybe not though. I mean, they could just drill into his. Oh yeah, still your dad. Right. Well, what they will do is take him by train from here. This is Eli to Nova Prospect.
And if he gets on that train, that's it.
Not necessarily. Grab something that represents us.
Here comes the airplane. No, he does not like me doing that. Grab something that represents us.
Anything will do.
I think this represents us pretty well. What do you think?
Okay, that's you.
I thought you said us.
Well,
Did I just get
one
like
of
a
us,
Steam
me,
notification?
will have to stay here for this plan to work.
Oh god. Okay. Doing that fucked with the...
All right.
Okay, we're good.
Fair enough.
Just outside, there's a second train that also leads out of City 17 through the quarantine zone.
Okay.
Both trains intersect here at Fairview Junction. You take your train, get there before his train, and hack into the controls. That'll let me take over the system. Train comes to a halt, you deal with the Combine situation, and we get your dad back.
Sounds good. Where's the train I'm taking?
Out the back, through the yard. It's decommissioned, but I think I can hack into its controls. Oh, and get yourself a pair of Russells on the way out.
Russell's?
The gloves, Alyx. You know, the gravity gloves. I have a few sets through there. You can calibrate them out by the shed.
Got it.
We can do this, Alyx. You got that, didn't you, that I said we could do it? Because we're gonna do it.
Yeah, we are.
I forgot to turn on Do Not
With
Disturb.
you every step of the way.
Yeah, I know it was an achievement, but I didn't know what the hell it was for. Because I've played this game before? Whatever. Anyway, Russell is the example, he is the shining example of the Portal 2ification of Half-Life through this game. Because he is written, I'd imagine, by Chet Falazek and the other guy whose name I always forget, Eric Wolpaw, who wrote for TF2, they wrote Portal 2, and now I think this was them writing this game. Maybe not. Chet has since left the company, if true, but his side project didn't go so well. He tried to make a Left 4 Dead 2 clone, but he didn't put any of the charm and character into it, so it just kind of fell flat, and also it never got marketed. Anyway, Russell is kind of a weird character because he shows up in this game, but he doesn't die, so he's just in a prequel, and he's never seen again. They didn't explain away why he's only in the prequel. Beautiful lighting there, I gotta say though, from the monitor onto his face, and the way that like the blue light and the orange light meet in the middle. Fuck you, Russell. You're a bad character. Oops. However, he's got a hell of a fridge. As you can see here. He's got the redesigned, worse-looking head crab in his fridge. Actually, that's the freezer, isn't it? That's the fridge. The big one's the fridge. I always forget. Because I've got a side-by-side... No, I don't got a side-by-side. I've got one with the freezers on the bottom. Really useful. Something, something. Electronic, lightweight, levitating... Gravity gloves, which is what's written here, and gravity gloves also. Oh, I can erase this with my hand. I hadn't even considered that. That's all, Oh, look at this. 'Tis a magazine. Featuring Wallace Breen, who they did in fact HDify, at least paint over, for this cover. The right man in the right place. That's a reference to the beginning of Half-Life 2. Did you know that? I bet you didn't know that. It's on the back. As if it'll let me. Let me look at the back, please. What the fuck? Vodka. The word vodka is on the back. Here's what I think of Breen. You can't see my foot. Okay. So here's one of my favorite bits of environmental storytelling, although also a sign of Portal 2ification. Although, to be completely fair to Valve, they were already trending this way when Half-Life 2 Episode 2 came out. There was a lot more good humor in that one compared to the rest of the series. Mostly from the rebels and the voice lines. Those are not from the gravity gloves, right? You think this is anything fun to say? Ah, shit. No, it doesn't say anything funny. Okay. What a strange lab he's got. So here's... Well, we're not there yet. Let's wait a second.
Alright, you know how this goes. There should be a bunch of junk down there. Aim at something with your hand open. Yep, you're tethered. Now close your hand. Registered. Now flick your wrist to bring it in. Try catching it, just like that. Great.
Check out the water shader, though.
Targeted. Alright, make a fist. You've got it. Just a little flick of the wrist. Now catch it, just like that. Yep. One more time.
And he is
Yep,
there.
Make a grip. Try catching it.
I don't think Noam Chomsky got updated for this, which is fine. I don't know if I
Hold
should...
your hand or something.
You know what? I am gonna bring him. Fuck it. Let's see how far I can bring him before I get exhausted and exasperated.
Excellent. Now make a fist. Registered. Now flick your wrist to bring it in. Catch it. That's it. Perfect. We're done. Oh, wait. I almost forgot.
Alyx, up here! You're gonna need a gun! Don't worry, it's unloaded. It's unloaded now! Oh, almost forgot. Guns need ammo. Here you go.
Thanks, Russ. You're the guy. You're a guy. Where the fuck did it go? I need that ammo. Russell, I've lost my bullets. Can't find him, Russ. Something happened. I need to break this lock with those bullets, Russ. Can I have some more? The fuck was that? Oh, there it is. Thank God.
Heading back to the comm room!
Okay.
Oh, you took care of that lock then. Good. Great. Did have the key for it, but should have given you that. That's on me. All right, here we go. Next stop, Fairview Junction.
Kind of crazy this train has automated electric doors. Sleep well, Nomi.
Obviously,
You can probably catch the gun midair.
I know.
I just didn't. I wanted to see it explode, break the windshield. Another unreal... Why is the loading thing all the way down there? Do you see that? No, you probably don't, because it's all the way down there. You don't see my full view. I have to crop it, or else it looks really bad. I hope that's alright. The alternative was using the game spectator window, which is what I would have preferred, but for some reason in the spectator window, the view is always looking like 45 degrees down from what it should have been. So I would have to look up at an angle all the time for you guys to see normal gameplay, and then obviously it wouldn't have been normal for me. This is getting weird. Can I recenter from here? This is the cost of using an Oculus. Is that I have their shitty proprietary crap instead of homegrown beautiful Steamness. I hear the menu sounds, but I can't interact with anything. And also I can't open Steam VR anymore, which means I can't see the chat. So I have to go over here and look at there. Chat didn't write this game. Okay, I figured he had already moved on, but yeah. Eric Woolpaw is still... Uh-oh. Is everything all right? The game is in an infinite loading loop. I was sort of afraid this would happen. If it comes down to it, I can always... Oops, that's not what I meant to do. If it comes down to it, I can always, If you're there, type in chat. I have to know... Here's what you're supposed to be seeing. Yeah, the game's in an infinite loading loop. Let me pull up the diagnostics. Oh. Let me pull up, I have to do it on the keyboard. Oh geez, what was it? It was Windows Shift R or something? No, not R. It was Control Shift Escape. There we go. Let's check the vibes. We're actually doing fine. I'm not sure why it's shitting the bed right now. Yeah, the screen is black for me too. That's the problem. Wait, is it black for... Hang on, I have to check if it's black for everything right now. I have to go over to my second monitor. Oh yeah, you can't see fucking anything. Okay, great. Something has broken. Well... Good thing I pulled up the task manager, because I'm gonna have to make some changes. There's been something wrong with Steam VR in general, at least when using this headset. I'm going to blame Oculus for it, because Oculus sucks more than Steam. It could also be a Windows 11 quirk. Okay, Half-Life Alyx has been ended. Still not seeing any sort of... Oh no, I'm loaded back into this hellscape. Check out the hellscape, everybody. I actually don't know if you can see the hellscape. It looks like you can't see the hellscape. That sucks. Oh, there we go. Now you can see the hellscape. Check this out. This is my Steam VR home ever since today. This was part of what went wrong earlier. This is running in Source 2, so it's good to know that the errors and the X's and the wire mesh is still here. But isn't this just wonderful? Hell, brought by Valve. If any of you have used Steam VR, this is supposed to be the Valve-made winter snowy peak thing. It's nice that my custom downloaded Skybox is still here, though. Okay. We're going to try relaunching the game now. What the fuck? This is where I was. Wow. That's not supposed to be there. Something's up. If these issues get too much, I'm going to say fuck it and do the VR mod, or the no VR mod. Just to say that I did the game. Oh, here it is, the scariest Valve intro ever. Noctis has already seen this, so you know how scary it is. Jesus Christ. And why is it facing me this way? Recenter, please. There we go. Okay, let's see what happens when I hit continue. Well, that's an improvement. That's what it's supposed to be doing. That's how it's supposed to look. And we're back. That was really, really weird. I'm sorry the no VR mod didn't work for you. Yeah, someone made a... 1 second.
Did the train stop? It stopped, didn't it?
Yeah, what happened?
It's jammed. When the Combine shut down the quarantine zone, they must have tightened security.
Which means?
Yeah, you're nowhere near Fairview Junction. You're just outside the QZ. And this is as far as we get by train.
Then I'm headed on foot.
Good. I'll see if I can get you in some other way.
Ooh. Classic.
I got a dead zombie here. I thought the Combine sealed up the QZ.
This one must have squirted out. I've heard they've had trouble with barnacle spores outside the containment area, but not about fellas like this.
Probably not a one-off then.
I doubt it.
So, well, in my opinion, the Half-Life Valve screwed up the headcrabs themselves. They did not screw up the zombies. These zombies are pretty close to similar to what you'd get in Half-Life 2, except they are way gnarlier. Obviously, the new tech allows for gnarly shit, right? But just, ugh, it's so gross. I love it. I love how gross it is. I used to use the word freaky to describe horror elements, like scary or gross things. But lately that term's been co-opted by losers, so I've had to refrain from using it. And look.
Would you look at that? Resin. And if there's resin around here, there should be a Combine fabricator. Keep an eye out. We might be able to upgrade your firepower a bit.
Good old resin and ammo and things. Classic physics. God, this game looks so good still. Rats and such. How's it looking for you guys? What did Jason do now? Jason definitely... Oh, I know what you mean, yeah. Right, Firewatch. I remember that. Valve cannibalized their studio that I forgot the name of. And Jay Pinkerton, yes, he also Portal 2ified this game. People in my Valve fan club friend group do not like that man. I've got a particular Scottish autist who's never going to watch this,
I can reroute this with my
who in
multi-tool.
fact hates that guy.
It's a tool with multiple functions. So, you know, multi-tools.
Also,
Alex, that thing's incredible. You need an incredible brand name. Something that really sells it.
Who am I going to sell it to?
The Combine's not going to be here forever. You should be thinking about the future, Alex.
Well, how about I call it the Alyx?
It's a little derivative of the Russells, but yeah, provisionally, sure. The Alyx.
Yeah, the Alyx.
no hesitation, kill all antlions. They don't belong here, they're eating the crops, they're eating the cattle. Pretty interesting, the 2007 Valve actually set them up for this type of thing because they had the antlion grubs heal you in the first place. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to explain the healing station like this. Oh, I hear him. So while it is a little unfortunate that the Half-Life zombies went from like having cool alien sounds to just going and also it is very cool that they changed the lore from being the head crab has taken over this man to this man is alive and in terrible pain and the head crab does not care. Just checking, being thorough, you know. Can I punch? Ow, I cannot punch a barrel. Alyx got a hell of a strength, though, to just do that. Although I guess barrels aren't that heavy if they're empty. That thing looks decently heavy. And the barnacles are around here somewhere. That made a noise like there's something in it, but there's... can't open it. You'd think they'd have put resin in that one. That one's open top and empty. I left the gnome downstairs. He's fine. I knew where I threw him. Cool book. They should have sold these. They should sell those. That would be both a dope-ass PC case and a dope-ass room light. It's too bad that they shut down their merch shop.
Oh, careful of that barnacle, Alex.
When I got my own car, I wanted to get a bumper sticker that I know exists that Valve used to sell that said, "Dog is my co-pilot." Of course, referring to Dog from the game. I've still got it.
How'd you meet my dad, anyway? You guys work together at Black Mesa, right?
Yeah, well, no. Tricky place to get a job at, actually. I interviewed at Black Mesa. They said try again in a year.
What the fuck?
I don't need to tell you what happened after that. Lucky break for me, really. Not a lot of survivors.
That ain't
Honestly,
supposed to be
it's a
doing
miracle
that.
You and your dad got out of there.
Bit of foreshadowing. Those who know how they got out of there. This is a good time to read the chat. Oh yeah, I saw that same post about the code for the flickering light. I saw the thing where like they show Quake flickering light and the Half-Life Alyx flickering light. It's a good pedigree. The Quake 1, 2, and 3 engines have some great-ass games on them, as do their successors, such as Source. Too bad there's no grenades yet, huh? This is a perfect bowling moment. I love how gross everything is in this game, though. Yeah, I put the gnome leg over there. I also like... We could see them back there, but not very well. There's a place up ahead that'll have a better, I haven't memorized which of these barnacles have loot and which ones don't, so I'm just gonna shoot them all, fuck it. This poor bastard was clearly British before he got zombified and then killed. Oh. And he was armed, which is unusual for Europe. Although this would have been like a... No, it would have been like a turn of the century era Europe before the Combine showed up, so... The classic wire spool. These things have helped you across Goop all the time. Was it only Half-Life 1? Still pretty cool. That's just sitting there. The Combine are really bad at keeping their... Oh no, this texture, you can see the pixels, it doesn't fucking matter. What was I gonna say? Combine are really bad at keeping track of their resin.
Oh, do you need a minute? Because, I mean, I could pause the feed.
Just looking, Rev.
It's nice of him to be considerate, though. He could have totally just, like, not paused the feed. But he's not that kind of guy. You can't afford to be that kind of guy in this kind of situation. There it is. And there's this. I did not put that in my backpack. Come here. This kind of looks like CSGO does too there for a second, but I just love, like, especially the skies and stuff. They did a great job. So pretty. And they almost make me feel nostalgic for some reason. I guess it's because Half-Life 2 is from an older era. So when I'm reminded of Half-Life 2, I'm also reminded of the older era. Hello, you. Get out of there. God, he's even got little fucking normal mapped whatever these are, hives or whatever. The changes made to the zombie anatomy is a lot less drastic as time goes on, but that's okay. It's fucking insane that a head crab latching onto your face and putting teeth in your neck can change your anatomy at all, especially how quickly it happens. But these are extra-dimensional horrors we're talking about. It's kind of crazy that headcrabs have that power over, like, DNA or whatever, but they're also dumb as a box of rocks. I don't know why I'm taking Gnomester out this way. I could just leave him... You think I can make this? Did not make it. I was hoping, when I first wanted to record this, I was hoping to do smooth locomotion. I think I just threw it back to where I was. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Gotcha. Fuck it. You're coming with me, then. I was hoping to do it with smooth movement, which of course meant I'd have to get my VR legs. But as it turned out, I never really wanted to play VR except for this game, so I didn't get my VR legs. And that's what put me off so long from doing this. But I've decided to say fuck it, and if I get motion sick, that's the cost of the hustle.
That's the control panel. I've probably scrambled the circuit. Considering no one would be dumb enough to open the hatch, it shouldn't be too hard to put back.
Ain't that the truth? And this is a cool bit of Combine lore here. that they use actual organic shit for computers, because of course they would. There is no better computer than a brain. The Combine love to use organic stuff for very simple tasks.
You know, Russell, now that I'm walking into the quarantine zone, it just hit me. I don't know anything about the quarantine zone.
Well, actually, the word quarantine comes from the Italian 40 giorni, which means 40 days, the period that all ships were required to be isolated before crew could go ashore during the Black Death.
All right. Cool.
Rat. How do you think the rat got there?
There we go, finally.
I'm gonna head in. How far is Fairview Junction?
You'll go through the old subway tunnels on your way to the train yard.
Have they started moving Dad yet?
I don't think so, which is good news because we've still got time.
Oh, that's great.
Or bad news because they've already killed him. And you don't need to move a corpse, you just bury it. Or burn it. Still there, Alyx?
Mm-hmm.
One thing I like about these were always present. They're on the Half-Life 2 model also, but I like how they move here. It kind of feels like, well, on that side it looks like it's got strings or something, but on this side with the pokey points, it looks like it reminds me of acupuncture or like a lobotomy needle or something. Like these are poking the brain somehow to get a as part of the computing process. Here's some more Portal 2 music. I don't know if they just said fuck it and wrote Portal 2 music, or if they wanted like the music for like playing as Alyx to feel different. Also a kind of funny you had to be there moment, playing Black Mesa's full release and seeing their version of Zen, and then playing Half-Life Alyx and seeing their version of Zen. This is the superior version in my opinion, just because of how alien it is and how it makes sense that this type of shit would grow on a desolate... Let me try and summarize my thoughts.
Russell, are you seeing this?
Whoa.
All right. Here we go.
When I mentioned VR legs, Anne, I meant just like getting accustomed to VR again, because I remember when I first got this, I played No Man's Sky through it, and I got so fucking motion sick that I just went to bed right there. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Considering how desolate Half-Life 1's Zen was, it makes sense that it's like Flora or whatever the hell it has would have a great time here, because it would have to be super aggressive, I think, to even grow to begin with in a place like Zen where there's just like floating rocks. Like they'd have to be able to like eke every little bit of nutrient out of those rocks. And then when they get introduced into a place that has more than just rocks, it's full of nutrients and soil and the food cycle and things, it just goes, oh hell yeah, and just invades the shit out of it, because it is so good at fighting for resources amongst... It's kind of like a desert, right? It's so good at fighting for resources that it's just better than the local stuff that doesn't have to try as hard. It's hyper invasive. That's why antlions took off so well. Uh-oh, it's oh god. It's technically loading. Holy shit. That was the most unpleasant VR loading I've ever had to experience. I don't know why, but the real motion sickness kicks in when like it stops tracking the headset in 3D and like the image is static, but it's still 3D and you're just like, ugh. I think there's a way to track VR legs, but I don't care enough. This hat looks like the ghastly gibbous. Do you see it? I'm going to throw the gnome a lot. Oh shit, I accidentally just threw my controller like it was Wii bowling. Good thing I used the wrist straps. I actually, when I was testing all the display stuff
I
earlier...
just found a loose syringe of God knows what. Is this medicine?
Does it
One
have a
sec.
skull and crossbones on it?
I don't see one.
Probably medicine then.
Nope. I used to be really good at reloading that. Anyway, what was I saying? Shit, when I was... Right, wrist straps. When I was testing out the display and getting it perfect and everything last night, I was going back and forth between the desktop, which should be over there, and the, this, because I have, you know, it's a different place. And, at one point I just didn't have the wrist straps on, but I acted like I did, so I just went like this and dropped them. But then I was like, uh-oh, and I heard a clock, and then like one of the batteries fell out. It was great. I don't think that's causing whatever problem this is, though. Whoops, that's not where that's supposed to go. There we go.
Do you hear that?
What is that?
So while I think they did screw up a lot of the sound design for a lot of the characters and enemies, they did not screw up the zombie.
Yeah, that's the way we gotta go.
No shortcut?
Yeah, that is the shortcut.
The zombies are so good, dude. They sound just like the Half-Life 2 ones, even though it's a different actor completely. It's an actual actor instead of Mark Laidlaw. And, but it sounds like almost exactly the same. It's crazy. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Although they move kind of silly.
The barnacle's on our side. That's not Oh, just so you know, the rifles have a built-in display. Shows you resin, ammo, you know, might come in handy.
Got it. Thanks.
Interesting that he thought to program a resin display. Wait, is this the way we go, or is that the way we go? This is the way we... Wait? No, this is... That is the... I don't remember. I just walked right into a barnacle. This is not the way. Okay, maybe I should be more cautious about throwing the gnome, huh? We call this one throwing the gnome! I hope it's not too weird that sometimes when I'm playing VR, I get, like, this urge to, like, pretend to video gamify my, movements. To be like... as if I were making video game animations. I did that a lot in No Man's Sky VR. I'd pull out the multi-tool and I'd, like, try and figure out a way that they could... how a reload animation for it would look if they had them. Because they don't. That's something I think they should improve. Anyway. Good thing they've got safety equipment here. Am I right, Nomi? Where the fuck did Gnome go? There he is. Here's the spot I was talking about where you can see the barnacles better. Oh shit, the gnome has definitely left the building. You know, I totally forgot that was a thing. Where the hell is he? He didn't fall back down here. That's impossible. No? Did he... shit. Did he fall down here? Can't even collide with that. Uh-oh. I think he's gone forever, guys. I think I'm gonna have to, unless I kill myself right now. Anyway, here's where we can see the little barnacles. I like, although it doesn't make a ton of sense, I like the idea that the little barnacles, also it doesn't make a lot of sense that there's barnacles on this grate. What the fuck? Anyway, I like the idea of these little barnacles being here and looking like they did in Half-Life 1. And it works for two reasons. One, you know, it canonizes both designs, right? This is closer to the Half-Life 2 design, although it's also become its own thing. And it canonizes the Half-Life 1 design. And it also kind of explains why the barnacles look different in Half-Life 1 to begin with, because they were fresh. They were young barnacles who had just showed up because the resonance cascade just happened like 30 minutes ago. The barnacle is kind of the epitome of Zen to me. Like, it's just fucking gnarly. The gnome is on the left on the ground. Back here. I see him. He glows. Come to me. Shit. Okay, now I think he's gone for good. I don't think he's recovering from that one. I can't, like... This is an invisible wall. I can't see him. There he is, my boy. Wait. That looks like it... No, it looks like a closed door. We're going back down the ladder. Can't go that way. I think... I'm gonna see if I can't go... Oh, I have to go backwards down here. What the fuck is this? Okay, here we go. The zombies. Just listen to these motherfuckers. I'm like Kubrick staring at this guy. We'll get plenty more examples as we go on. It is kind of interesting, the juxtaposition between how horrific the zombies actually are and the way people treat them. I'm not trying to backpack that thing, okay. But at the same time, Alyx grew up in this world. I'm sure that everyone is just desensitized to the idea of zombies, because if you aren't desensitized to it, you're probably gonna go crazy. Noam Chomsky was around here somewhere. He was in one of these train connector cars. I saw it. I done seen it. There he is. He's right there. Oh, he is so fucked. I cannot get him. Sorry, boys. This is the end of the gnome run. Think I can hit that from here? I also think it's interesting that they added green mutations to them. Fuck, come on. Got it. You should play this game again, Ed. It's really good. It's a proper immersive single-player game, although there's no hot guys in it, so Unless you think Eli is hot, because Russell is definitely not hot. He's designed like a cartoon character. Shit. Back up. Hey! I just deflected that by accident. Isn't it kind of weird that head crabs have like a redness around them, but their blood is yellow? Like, shouldn't they not have pink insides? But maybe I don't understand how muscles and blood work. Anyway, I think it's interesting that they brought these, they added these green cysts that you can shoot, because for those who know, ew, god damn it. For those who know, the Gearbox HD model pack puts green cysts on the zombies. And they also put green cysts on the Gonome in Opposing Force before the HD model pack. They did that to make the Gonome look less weird, I think. To make the zombies and that look more cohesive together. And I wonder if that's a nod to that, or if they just came up with one.
I want to see how this thing works.
Got it. Will it work on the Russells?
No, but it should fix up that pistol nicely. Good thing, too, I gave you one of my lesser guns.
I do not like the puzzles.
Well, you know, in case it doesn't make it back.
Tell you what, Russell. If I die, I owe you a gun.
You owe me a gun anyway. That wasn't a gift. That's my gun.
Hell yeah, reflex sight. So Alyx's gun in Half-Life 2 is technically of Combine design. Makes sense. Does kind of look it. I like the texture work on this. You can clearly tell that they didn't want shaders to do the heavy lifting. They really did texture it. It's good. They didn't put a bunch of masks on it. It's just an image texture, really. A bunch of maps. Normal maps and roughness maps and displacement maps, which they did to everything else. This is a normal map, right? Oh hell yeah, that's a normal map. No one in their right mind is going to model these tiles. That shit is normal mapping time. I could use a water right now, and my back hurts. How long have I been up for? Hour 29. I think I'm gonna do... Yeah, that's kind of why I stream these games. I want to make people play them. I want people to want to play them. That's why I did it for Half-Life 1. Now I can see his weaknesses. Ow! Anyway, the zombies are just pure suffering in this game, and I love that. Let me see how close I can get to this guy. Not close enough. Oop, come back here. Nope, didn't kill him. Might not have hurt him at all. And this is where I start. No, it's not. It's a different part of the train. Okay. Too bad there's no melee weapon, although I guess it doesn't really matter. If there was a melee weapon, it would have had to have been the socket wrench. You know,
Nice shooting, Alyx.
Thanks. You know, for all your talk about what a lesser gun this thing isn't half bad.
what was I saying? Let me get out of the music zone. So, what the fuck was I saying? I think maybe headcrabs are dumb because most of their brain functions are required in order for them to have the ability to control a body that is not their own and control it decently well. And then the rest of it is their single-minded attack strategy of, I'm just gonna walk up to his face. Right? Because headcrabs, they act stupid, but they can't be that stupid if they're able to take over a nervous system and actually puppet it properly, or at least decently well. Wait, was that something? That was. Jump scare moment. Oh! Ooh, my back's getting tired. I might have to cut this one a little shorter than usual. Just cause my back hurts for some reason. I guess it's because I'm standing up with this heavy thing on my head. I'm not sure. Maybe I just have back problems. That's literally nothing. There's nothing there. There's a... Oh, but the wire's been cut. Right, the Combine did that. Here it comes. The regular head crab.
Where'd it go?
That reminds me of something, but I can't put my finger on it. Right. It's kind of crazy how much nothing there is over here. Definitely, Zen does look kind of like sea life. This is a formation I swear I've seen in real life on an ocean floor somewhere. There's something just so alien about this and Half-Life 1 Zen that Black Mesa didn't really capture. Like, it's not that it's ugly, it's that we don't understand it, that kind of thing, right? Like the whole, Black Mesa's Zen was pretty in a way that we can understand, but Half-Life 1's Black Mesa, Half-Life 1's Zen was, and still is, way more alien feeling. So, the head crab.
Found it. Probably only one of those.
The design... Well, I guess the design makes some sense because they don't walk with these front legs. But...
Okay, two of those.
You gonna jump at me, idiot? No, you're not. Now you are. And you're gonna not stick the landing. I hope they stick the landing again if they do a Half-Life 3. I hope that a lot of the changes they made to the way the enemies work was just for VR and isn't permanent. Anyway, the head crabs, they fucking ruined their sound design. Half-Life 1 and 2 head crabs sounded like aliens. They didn't sound just like bugs. They had elements of other shit in there. These things, they sound like bugs. They sound like fucking terminid scavengers from Helldivers 2. They sound like glyphids from Deep Rock Galactic. They sound generic. I do not like that. I think they shouldn't have done that, and they should have just tried to remaster the existing sound design without reinventing the wheel. I guess they didn't have a sound for "I'm going to pounce now," because, you know, they never did that before. But still. Maybe headcrabs can work off muscle memory. I don't know. It's interesting to think about, right? Because if you were suddenly put into a body that was... Well, the headcrabs aren't put into a body, but they now have control of a body that isn't their own. Like, if we were able to do something like that, would it work the same way? I guess it's not dissimilar to piloting a mech or something. Although it's a lot more complicated and physically impossible. We're back in the train car. Something's up. But it's actually loading, that's good. How long have I been going? Fuck, not very long at all. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm starting to get a little sick and a little tired and my back hurts. Would y'all mind if I ended it off here? But I promise this is not a one-off. I will return for more virtual reality. I'm just kind of... Once I get my VR legs again, I'll, it'll be better and I can go for longer. But for now, I'm getting a little queasy and... Hello. Ridiculous ties. And, oh yeah, I forgot about Jeff. Jeff is pretty hot. Larry's pretty hot, too. Yeah. Yeah. Unk status, or whatever you want to call that. You could just watch me take a break in real time. I could just, like... So how's it going? Heck of a day, huh? Combine stole my dad. What have y'all been up to? One day I'll be like those YouTube videos of, I spent 24 hours in Minecraft in VR. This definitely does not feel better than lying on my bed. And also, my headset is slipping off. And it's not aligned properly, so it's all blurry. What if I do this? There we go. That's stupid. I feel like if I... Oculus has this thing where you can, like, see the room. It, like, switches to, like, camera mode, so you can see the actual room you're in. And sometimes it turns on when you leave your boundary that you set. So I hope I don't accidentally dox myself. You won't be able to see my face, though, and that's good, because I haven't lost the weight yet. You've been bottom fragging in TF2 all day? Yeah, that sucks. Probably the worst feeling I've ever had, besides existential dread, is bottom fragging in anything, really. Especially TF2, though, because I feel like I have this precondition that I'm supposed to be good at it. And then... and then if, like, the facts don't follow that logic, it's just like, well, shit, my life has no purpose. For the fourth time, I've never doxed myself. You've never seen what my room looks like. It's a nice room, though. You'd be jealous. I'm gonna lose it in a few years, though, when my parents die. So I'm making the most of it with virtual reality. I guess the whole game is built off set pieces, but if they're good set pieces... Episode 2 is actually the one that I've replayed the most, and I somehow didn't get bored of it for a little while. I don't know why it's the one I've replayed the most. I guess because I just like it the most, I guess, out of all the... I'm one of the rare cases who likes Episode 2 more than Half-Life 2. They mentioned that in their documentary. They were like, did anyone actually like the episodes more than Half-Life 2? And I say yes. That's my personal opinion. I like the episodes a little more, mostly because they had like figured out the formula better, and they understood the gameplay better, and there was more enemy variety, and a lot more unique things going on. Yeah, and it looks prettier. That's a big. That's not something that I'd be proud of admitting, but it's probably true. Okay. But also, like, I feel like they perfected the formula. Kelly Bailey figured out what the music should sound like. The gameplay was more well understood. They did more interesting things with the gravity gun. Well, I guess they weren't interesting so much as they just didn't do them in the base game. They were just stuff that they hadn't done yet. But it definitely didn't have any big innovation on top of the formula. It just felt like, like it was cooked to perfection instead of what Half-Life 2 was, which was unfortunately a bit rushed at the end. I had never considered that Half-Life 2 was rushed. I just thought that that's all they could do with the time or with the technology, but it turns out that nope. They finished the engine like a year before they shipped the game. And they were bleeding money because of a lawsuit and stuff. And they secured some extra funds by licensing Counter-Strike 2 to a publisher or some shit. I don't remember the details, but then they backed out of it. Oops. Okay, what's gonna happen now if I get back up? I'm gonna accidentally choke myself on the cord that this headset's got. Did that solve all my problems? No?
Heard anything about Dad, Russell?
No. Radio silence since he got on the train.
Damn it.
Well, the good news is he's probably fine.
How do you know that?
Because taking him to Nova Prospect to torture him, that's the torture place. So they're hardly going to torture him before they get there. So he's fine. Logically speaking.
There's another ghastly gibbous box with nothing in it, just like the real one. I'm sorry, Noctis knows it as the ghostly gibbous. Does this head crab look weird to you? Yes, he does. He looks like how they used to look on zombie torsos in Half-Life 2, stretched. That's interesting. Probably not supposed to happen, but interesting that it happens in a similar way that it has already happened in a previous game. I don't like how spindly they are in this one. I don't like how spindly these legs are. I get it that they're supposed to be like sharp and for, holding on and shit, which is the same as these claws back here. But I liked the ones that were stumpier with spurs on them that Half-Life 2 had. I think Half-Life 2's head crab design is still the best in the series for now. I feel like the basic general design of them is not going to change much if the Half-Life 3 leaks are real. Russell, I didn't even see that. Which means you didn't see it. I could go for a cold one after this. It's gonna get real physically active once I have to actually dodge bullets and shit.
That there is a floppy disk. We used to store store information on them, with magnets, if you can believe it. Specifically, 2 micrometers magnetic iron oxide, 3 micrometers barium ferrite, 1.2...
Russell? How do you know all this?
I'm reading it here on my computer. I downloaded the internet before the war.
You downloaded the entire
Can't read it.
internet.
Most of it.
Nice.
Yeah, it is.
If I had the money and the expertise and the know-how, I would want to make a PC, like a new modern PC, but in a case that's really old-fashioned like this. I'm not really sure why. I just like the look and feel of old technology. Like, I got a sci-fi world that I'm building in my head, and a lot of their technology is based on the idea of, like, we couldn't go smaller anymore. We got to the minimum size we could get, so we had to go bigger to make things more powerful. So stuff started looking like this again. It's a way to justify it. My wire is caught on something, I think. It's caught on my chair. I forgot how light it is in my room, just so I could make sure that the Oculus can see that it's handsets. I don't know if... I'd imagine the Half-Life Alyx leaks were all like HLVR and related, like all the file name stuff that people found in like Dota 2 or whatever were all HLVR related. And the stuff that people are finding in CS2 and Deadlock says HLX. And also, if a Half-Life 3 was VR, there would be riots. And I would participate. So I don't think it's just from a standpoint, it doesn't seem like a good idea to make HL3 in VR if they wanted to. Although they could always program in like an optional VR mode. Some crazy file-related stuff they found in, I think it was CS2's files, related to like objects getting hotter and changing physical properties based on temperature, which sounds like a puzzle mechanic, but also I like the idea of like maybe heating up a saw blade and shooting it at a zombie and that having a better effect, or maybe I don't know. I always thought that an interesting way to innovate would be through the gravity gun, by like having different objects have like different physical effects on stuff. Like say this glass bottle, right? Like if you gravity gun this glass bottle at like a zombie, having the shards like stick into the zombie and like cause extra damage, or maybe you could pull the shards back out to cause more damage, or like cutting off limbs. Anything that looks like it could be sharp should be sharp. You know, like the legs on a turret, if you could shoot that into a zombie, it could stick into it or pierce it or impale it to a wall because they're sharp, or they look sharp. Sharp enough, especially at gravity gun velocity. Here we are.
Russell,
Eyewitness.
Possibly. Are you seeing floating garbage?
it looks like it's just cardboard.
Right. Well, seems harmless.
Yeah. Weird though.
It makes an eyeball, you dimwit. I find it funny that it looks, at least it looks obvious to me what those shapes are supposed to be, why the garbage is floating. But, like, I guess they didn't want the player to be, like, held into understanding the floating garbage. They wanted the player to figure it out for themselves, maybe. So they didn't have, so the characters don't understand the floating garbage, so that the player has to understand the message behind it on their own. That's what I'm assuming was their thought process. I could be wrong. It really looks like there should be resin in here. Huh, oh well. Anyway, floating garbage. Let me see if I can remember this first try. That was not it.
is that?
First of all, hell of a job, buddy. Headcrab extermination is not easy, nor does anyone want to do it, and I'm glad that this guy has been doing it. This is very obviously a Vortigaunt, by the way. I hope you don't mind getting spoiled on the fact that there is one in here. I love this mural. Antlion husbandry, the ancestral practice. This sound effect in the back, this like sound of like pain and longing and frustration, this wail in the soundtrack. Mike Moraski killed it with this one though. The Combine soldiers, even human Combine soldiers, shooting the Vortigaunts. The Zen ships from Half-Life 1, Striders, the Nihilanth.
It looks like pictures of Vortigaunts.
The Nihilanth enslaving them. Although I kind of want to know how we got from that to this. But the fact that there's humanoid Combine soldiers in this, like... Well, I guess the Vortigaunts don't perceive time linearly, right? So, in that sense, this could have come after this. And also the Zen ships are interesting in that scene. Maybe those belong to the Nihilanth. I always assumed that the Nihilanth used the Vortigaunts as like genetic templates for both the alien controllers and the grunts, because they're so similar to Vortigaunts, right? And the Gargantuas. Like, Vortigaunt DNA plus his DNA makes alien controller, and Vortigaunt DNA plus steroids makes alien grunt, and Vortigaunt DNA plus... I don't even fucking know, makes a Gargantua, because they all have shared features, but not with him. Only with the Vortigaunts. Oh, the source engine, I remember stuff like real-time moss growth is something Gabe always wanted. Interesting that I actually didn't know about wanting it in Source 1, so maybe they're back at it again with an engine that can actually do it. Barnacle spores, I think? Those look like barnacle. That looks like a barnacle-ed, but it might not be. The funny four-legged plants from Zen. I love these things, and I don't even know why. I just like them. They look like big head crabs. Maybe that's why I like them. Zen, the Gonome, not the Gonome, the Gonarch. Gonarch is still canon. I wonder if this is going to have significance. Or no, that's the original Zen Island. That's the island from the chapter Zen. That's where Gordon Freeman went. And of course, the biggest part of the mural.
That one's Black Mesa.
Somebody spent a lot of time on this.
The Doctor himself. Attempts to create the Black Mesa logo. This is where the Vortigaunts learned of Gordon Freeman. They didn't know what he was going to do. Or maybe they did. Either way, they shot at him, the dicks. Or Zen, Hound Eyes, still canon to the universe. The tentacles, I'm a little upset about one specific thing regarding these tentacles in this game, but I'll get to that when I get to that. The Nihilanth being killed, we know how that goes. I played it on stream. Their freedom, but the Citadel. And that's Eli, that's Alyx, that's a Vortigaunt, that's me. And Gordon Freeman with his crowbar hand making the lambda symbol. The most interesting part of this mural, besides all of it, is this, in my opinion. Because we know that the Vortigoths don't really see time the way we do. But this is still more or less written chronologically. Like, this stuff happened chronologically. So I'm wondering if they've got human Combine soldiers and were attacked here before Nihilanthan slavery, assuming that's what this is. Does that mean that they've got...
Whoa.
Um,
Cardboard.
let me try and organize my thoughts. Does that mean that they've... like the Combine, that this happened, like... that the Combine can also time travel, I guess? Like, what if the Combine have always had human soldiers? And this is the point in time where those human soldiers originate from, and maybe the Combine can also time travel with their teleportation technology. So maybe those soldiers have always been deployed for as long as the Combine have been around, but this is like where they came from. It's like a homeworld for the Combine soldiers, but a point in time instead of a point in space. Oh yeah, the Source Engine moldable terrain. That was in the E3 2003 demo. That didn't ship. Okay, so I got it backwards, it looks like. It looks like the real answer was... There we go. So there's a fun lore video to talk about later. I could do a 2-minute YouTube short on that. Did the Combine always have? What the? Oh yeah, I have that. From what I remember, that voice is still Ellen McLean, who did the original Overwatch voice. She just sounds different, I guess, because she's older, and maybe they used a different method for... Well, they made her sound more like a recording coming off a speaker, instead of like the ever-present, perfect clarity voice that she always was.
You alright? What's wrong?
I'm fine, Russell. What's up?
I'm losing your signal. Alex? Alex? If you can still hear me, keep heading in the same direction and try to get above ground.
Russell? Russell? Crap.
But also her delivery seems quicker and more human-like and less pointed, like her enunciation is different and more regular. Like the original Overwatch voice she did was, she like enunciated the beginning of words a lot more. If I remember right, she was doing an impression of a text-to-speech program that Valve originally wanted to use for that voice, but then realized they didn't have the rights to and didn't want us to buy the rights to, so they hired a voice actress to record lines instead. Or maybe they couldn't buy the rights? Whatever. Oops, that's the pause button. Either way, I love that Overwatch voice. You saw this in the trailer.
This is weird.
Oh, rest in peace, the GOAT. Am I right, everybody? I was almost freaked out when I first played this. I was almost scared to, oh god, it's doing the thing again. Oh. Oh. Okay, we're back. It did the thing again where the screen went black. Now I have to check and make sure the display recording is okay. Yeah, it looks alright. Oops, I need to switch back to this. Yeah, you probably didn't watch the trailer, but I know people who did, and hopefully those people are watching the stream. I do have like 1,000 subscribers. I'd hope a few of them watch this. I was almost scared to meet this guy.
Oh.
The Alyx fans. You received my message.
I did?
You did.
Enter.
Okay. Thanks.
You are welcome.
So, what's a Vortigaunt doing here?
Cooking.
Right, but I mean, in general.
I have a brain injury.
Oh, I'm sorry
My
to...
brain is injured.
That's terrible, and I hope...
Ow.
I'm actually
His eye
pleased to listen to
twitched.
my father,
The
Eli Vance.
Vance. Yes.
The Combine have him, and I really do need to get moving.
The Combine. Yes. Do not go yet. I must show you something.
Look, I appreciate
This way.
I can't stick around.
It is important.
I know, I'm sure it is.
The Alyx Vance must go this way anyway.
Okay.
I love him. Couple interactables here that you can mess with. Obviously, he's got a beautiful garden of edible Zen stuff, which looks a lot better than outside. He's got some rotten food too. That sucks. I guess Zen food doesn't rot so much. He's got a skull there and an animal dish for something. These head crabs display emotions such as fear. And this one I think is more aggressive. Yeah. You know, I guess come to think of it, Lamar is kind of a Lamar is kind of an example of headcrab intelligence. They are more intelligent than we think. But, they're just not smart at attacking. I guess maybe they haven't evolved to be smarter when it comes to attacking yet because they haven't had to yet, because they've only been on Earth for like 20 years, and maybe they didn't used to prey on humans. I don't know. They clearly didn't used to.
Like the Eli Vance. The Alyx Vance will free them.
I would help. I really would, but the Alyx Vance is honestly very busy saving her dad.
You will not save him. He is dead.
What?
Or he will be.
Is or will be?
It is a matter of perspective. But Alyx Vance alone cannot prevent his fate.
Look, thank you for everything, but I really have to go. And I'm sorry, but I really don't have time for riddles.
No riddles. The Combine drilled here. I am severed from the vortessence. I am alone in my head.
I'm sorry. Look,
There's that scream again.
If I run across your friends, I will see what I can do.
You have saved my kid.
I
Yes.
haven't.
Then you will.
Ow. You punched me in the face.
Courage, Alyx Vance.
Cool guy, huh? So, this Vortigaunt and the ones up ahead that I'm going to save were voiced by Tony Todd, who passed away this year.
The mission begins.
Something I find interesting about their redesign is that it's a little bit more agile. They seem kind of stiff.
Alyx Vance.
Shut up, dude. Okay, fine, I'll leave. They always seemed kind of stiff in Half-Life 2, like they couldn't bend over. But they clearly do here.
I will help the Alyx Vance. Look to the northern star
Why?
for guidance.
Okay, thanks. Are you done helping?
I am not. Here. Sustenance.
I'll eat it later. Thanks for the help.
You will be welcome.
This Vortigaunt and his friends up ahead are way more mobile than the ones in Half-Life 2. Their animations don't consist of walking from point A to point B, but of clambering around and kind of bending over and doing fun body shit. And, oh, another loading zone. I do like the map of the city. It's a neat idea. Although I can't help but wonder.
Alex, the signal's back. Can you hear me? Are you okay?
Russell, I'm good. How's Dad?
I've got him on the train. He's on the move. You've got to find Fairview Junction before they get there.
I'm working on it.
What was I gonna say? Some fun sounds coming from back there. You gotta wonder if they could have put research into like level streaming. Like if you've ever played, I probably haven't. I don't think specifically. I'm pretty sure. Oh, he died last year. Okay, well, whoops. But he's gone. Unfortunately, poor guy. What I was saying is, if you've played Resident Evil 2 Remake,
That's weird.
I haven't played Resident Evil 4 Remake, so I don't know if it does this also. I've only played Resident Evil 2. So, if you've played Resident Evil 2 Remake, you can go from like basically the end of the game, backtrack all the way up to the beginning of the game without any loading screens. And I'm pretty sure that's done through level streaming, and I can't help but wonder if Valve should like invest into trying to do that. The drawings by the Vortigaunt foreshadowed these armored head crabs with glowing hearts.
But I ran into a
Vortigaunt? What was he doing down there?
hiding. He escaped from the Combine.
What did he say?
You ever meet a Vortigaunt? He said crazy Vortigaunt stuff.
It's kind of funny how this younger Alyx does not like Vortigaunts or take them as seriously. I'm not going in there till I've killed every last one of you. There we go. That shouldn't have even worked. I hadn't really noticed the way that the head crab's jaws have like these. They have these jaws that clamp together now. It looks a lot like. Oh, hello. It looks a lot like the Half-Life 1. The Half-Life 1 zombie mouth, that torso chest mouth that they have, or the Gnomes had that even more pronounced one. Okay. Since this is the beginning of the next chapter, I'm gonna call it quits and take a rest. Thank you for watching. I'm going to quit the game now. Oh, another thing I wanted to say. The Vortigaunt's design, about them being... Sorry if I just gave you sickness by doing that. The Vortigaunt's being more agile and their head being smaller and them having smaller, like, face things, like they did in the first Half-Life. It also makes it look more plausible that they could have been preyed upon by head crabs. Like, it makes it... The Vortigaunt's, like, Half-Life 2 design, it looks really hard. Like, a head crab would have trouble getting on there. But the Vortigaunts in Half-Life Alyx, it looks more like a head crab could more easily fit onto their face. Which makes sense, because the head crabs had to have preyed on something. If they had to have had an intended prey that was similar to a human, if they are so easily able to instinctually prey upon humans. Although they could also just be a bioweapon, who knows. Prepared in time for the invasion that the Nihilanth knew would eventually come. What the fuck? Oh, my hand wigged the fuck out. Okay.
Oh,
Anyway.
That Vortigaunt I met, he did give me a head crab to eat.
Oh, great! What did it taste like? Tell me how you...
Russell, I didn't eat it.
Right. Of course you didn't. No, that's the right decision.
But yeah, it makes Vortigaunts feel more like they and head crabs have coexisted for a long time, and so long that they've learned how to avoid head crabs, and now they just kind of treat them as a pest. Okay, good night. That's all I had to say. I'm gonna quit the game now. How do I quit the game? Quit game. And now it's gonna take me back to the hellscape, I bet. And also, this bed is still here. Oh, yeah, the hellscape, baby. The hellscape. This is my home. Oh no, it's all destroyed. Okay, I can't even navigate the menu. Everything is... Oh, I just loaded into it. Oh. This is a custom one that I downloaded. I thought it would be bigger than this, but it's not. It's just the Millennium Falcon and some X-Wings and some TIE fighters. But it's also existential dread because you can feel the scale of this black fucking void. And it freaks me out the same way people get freaked out of the deep ocean. Anyway, what happens if I load this saved home environment? Okay, it's not letting me. Something's wrong with Steam VR. It's only letting me play the ones that I downloaded and not the ones that Valve made, which are the only good ones. I mean, this one's all right. See, it's cool enough. This is very missed feeling. Before I go, look at my cool avatar that I made. That's all I had to say. Good night, everybody. Yeah, the collision sounds were pretty good. Some of those are balloonicorns, I know that. Sweet. All right. Exit to VR. Wait, let me stop the stream before I do that. Goodbye, everybody. You're going to watch me hit the end stream button in real time. Goodbye.